accumulated. We've got to position him.
Yeah. Lou, Annika, bye-bye.
COSMOTE TV welcomes three-time Oscar winner Mr. Oliver Stone. We are so glad that we are meeting you here at your premises in Los Angeles.
Thank you.
I was thinking back on all the great movies that you've directed or written. Midnight Express, Platoon, Salvador, Wall Street, JFK. You are still making provocative movies with a point.
Well, over 30 years, it's not easy. I'm trying to, I'm interested in the world, and it's changing all the time. That's not to say I'm trying to be a newsman, but sometimes, at least since 2000, a lot of my films have come closer to the events, such as World Trade Center and Wall Street and the George W. Bush story, and then my documentaries, Untold History. And on Untold History, I have to tell you, the mainstream press was vicious. It was always the progressive press that appreciated it, because you didn't get this kind of history in America. You don't learn it in school.
I recently heard that your latest revision of Alexander has become the most profitable DVD.
Are there more Greek stories that you would be interested to film?
Oh, there's great Greek stories, but it's so hard to get them made,
Yeah.
because American people are not that interested in history, not as much as Europeans are. So, there's a possibility if you keep your scope limited. But I would love the grandeur of Alexander and the music by Vangelis to me. That's a certain canvas.
I'll never forget, on any given Sunday.
Yes, the world is a terrible place.
It's about the game.
Love is a burning thing, and it makes a fiery ring.
Do you admire the work of Greek cinematographers?
Yes, Kakoyannis was I think Zorba the Greek I must have seen many times as a young man. It really was a very emotional movie. Kazazankis too, the book was an amazing book. And I saw The Lobster, it's an interesting movie with Colin Farrell.
Deputy Director of the NSA offered me a new position.
Can you tell me anything about it?
You know I can't.
Snowden was such a controversial story. How tough was to bring it on screen?
For me, it was very hard because it took us 3 years to do it. It took a long time to write the script because it was truly his story. It was a Snowden story as told by his point of view. This is what happened to him. And we were very accurate. Where we couldn't show what exactly happened, we showed a parallel version of it. The film is highly authentic. And people will say that it's this or that, but the truth is these are hard to come by lines. The dialogue, the accuracy of it, it's hard to come by.
Is there any movie that you have not been able to finish because it was against the system?
I think several movies did not get made, like the My Lai massacre in Vietnam. That was one big one, and there were several others. I mean, my life has not been easy. As you can guess, I mean, the documentaries on Castro, on Chavez. I'm doing one on Putin now, which I'm finishing.
I remember reading in a biography, Stone, that your wife at the time, Elizabeth, said that you were writing the story of the Scarface in a very dark room. Do you isolate yourself when you write?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, I try to. I think writing requires solitude and listening to something inside yourself. And that's very hard to do if you're directing too. I mean, you have to split it.
There's a line that you wrote on Scarface that says, "All I got is my 2 balls and my work, and I don't break them for nobody." Does that work for you? It's something that you feel about yourself?
That was me at the age of 40 something. No, actually at 30, I certainly had I was probably much more bold about things, but yeah, it was, it's fun to be a gangster in a movie. You play the gangster, you can talk big, but in real life we don't talk so big.
Yes, the critics didn't love it at the time.
No, they never do love my stuff.
Yes, but Scarface now has become like a cult movie.
Yeah, it's special.
A special movie in history.
It is what it is. I'm glad I spoke up and said what I had to say. That's what you got to do in every movie, because the critics are not going to be your friends. That's why it's important you have to say what you say. They always say I'm being too blunt, or I say what I mean, blah, blah, blah. If I don't say it, then no one's going to interpret it correctly. Snowden is a quiet man, and I didn't make the movie loud, because every time I did a movie, what it was about somebody or something, I would try to take the voice of the person who's telling the story, whose story it is, you see. So the style of the movie changes every time.
Go.
want the war. We don't want the war. The Vietnamese don't want the war. So why does it go on?
Some of the reviews in the United States were very hard, and England were very hard on Snowden, very hard. I'm surprised and hurt, but you know, I've been hurt my whole life. You just got to recover from the hurt. You've got to get the resiliency to go on. Maybe it's anger. There's a certain amount of anger. The world is not just. The systems are screwed. I'm living in a country that is completely doomed, damned, you know. I don't like the American empire system. I don't like pushing other people around. I hate bullies. So you know, I'm never at ease, you know. Frankly, I'm better off on a Greek island. Actually, I used to go there quite a bit.
You are more than welcome to
I
come
could get
again.
some sleep. You know, the thing in Greece was I used to sleep till pretty late in the mornings, and my day started much later in the day. You know,
Yeah,
so that was kind of nice.
What makes you feel happy?
Very little happiness in life. Most of it is painful, but in life, certainly, love, honest relationships, good food, sex.
Thank you so much.
Goodbye, no use leading without chins. This is where our story ends. Never lovers, ever friends. I wish you bluebirds in the spring to give your heart a song to sing, and then a kiss. But more than this, I wish you